Hello everyone, welcome back to the Undercut podcast. Today we bring you a video surrounding Mercedes-Benz Formula One team and what is exactly going wrong at that team at the moment. Jack, break this down for us. What is going
Everything.
wrong?
Just everything.
What's happening to them?
What is happening to it? That is the question. Because in large portion, you would have to say that they've taken a step backwards.
Yeah.
There's no beating around the bush. They have taken a step backwards. The car is more stable, but slower.
Yeah, they sacrificed performance for the stability of the car, for obvious reasons. In my kind of opinion, I think it's the situation at Mercedes is it's a strange one. It's a very, very strange one because you wouldn't imagine a team that you could possibly say since 2014 kind of know what they're doing.
Well, you would think so.
They know how to win a championship. They've won 8 of them. So, you'd think they'd know one or two things about making a quick car. But it seems that, I think, obviously their problems started way back in 2021 when they started designing this next car. And I think they just overthought it. I think they've overthought it. They've tried to come out the blocks firing, tried to be ahead, aerodynamically, try and be the quickest, a second ahead of everyone else. And it's just backfired on them because they've not been able to find the performance. They've not gone with stability first and performance second. And then they've gone back on themselves. And now we're in a situation where Mercedes are just slow because they've waited 3 years to make a stable car.
They are essentially a couple seasons behind everyone.
Yeah.
That's where they are with the philosophy of this car.
Yeah.
And they're not going to catch Red Bull. They're not going to catch Ferrari. McLaren seems to have been able to make that step for the car to work. Mercedes haven't.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's one of those situations where as well, Mercedes, quite clearly, you can tell they can make a good car because it's not like they're down the bottom of the field. They've made this car pretty much in 1.5 years. Their time to make this car has been halved compared to everyone else because they've had to switch up the philosophy halfway through this era, and they're still within McLaren and Ferrari at some tracks. So it proves that they can make a good car and fairly quickly if they do it right.
Yeah.
But when they don't do it right,
they're stuffed.
They're stuffed.
They're stuffed.
And they haven't been getting it right. And now this brings us on to the bigger problem. Mercedes are now losing people that are very important to them. One being Lewis Hamilton, and they say the reason for him departing Mercedes is because they couldn't give him the contract that he wanted. But you can't argue that a part of the reason why he's left isn't because that car isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, he's clearly seeing something at Ferrari that
you can clearly see something at Ferrari after the start that they've made this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, at the moment, you look at it and think he's made a blind driver choice there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But you never know, 2026 regulations, Mercedes might hit it. But at the moment, a bit shit.
Yeah, they're not doing too well. And
I mean, they have come out and said, Mercedes, after Australia, that they know the problem. They just can't find a solution to the problem.
But this is the thing. They're constantly trying to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main issue with Mercedes is they've won so much that they're so used to just being able to be miles ahead of everyone else. So they have that mentality. But now that they're losing, because when it came to 2022, everything kind of goes back to square one. Yeah, there's a chance that they're not first. There's a chance that they're not in front. So I felt like they've overthought it and thought we've got to be ahead of the curve. What's the best way we can do something different to everyone else and get it right? And then they've tried it, not realized that maybe these new cars, maybe even top engineers like Adrian Newey don't understand them fully yet. You need to go with stability.
Yeah.
You need to make sure the car's drivable. And that's something they didn't do. And they completely overthought it. And I think that's a mass. And I think they're still doing it to this day. I think they're still doing it.
Yeah, it seems to be a thing with Mercedes over the past couple of years. We know the problem. We don't know the solution.
Yeah.
It makes you think, right, these problems are reoccurring. Do they actually get a solution ever for this car?
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. Do you think they do make it back to the top in this current climate of car?
Not back to the top. I'm not discounting them maybe for a race win because it's Mercedes and they're bound to get it right on at least one track.
Yeah.
I wouldn't discount them of the odd win here and there over the next 2 years. But they're not going to be top battling Red Bull and Ferrari.
No.
Ferrari carry on this trajectory. Ferrari are going to be there with Red Bull. And it's going to be Ferrari, Red Bull, and then probably McLaren ahead of Mercedes, and then you're going to look at Mercedes and Aston Martin together.
Yeah, it does. It does very much seem that way. And another thing I feel like Toto Wolff is in a lot of denial, and that's very sumptuous. But there's times where I'm kind of like, I'm looking at him trying to explain the problems, and I'm like, this man can't accept sometimes, I think, that he's losing. And obviously he's a sportsman. He wants to win. He wants to be at the top. But I feel like sometimes he gets in his own head too much. Especially
the stress coming off him.
The stress. This man's aged like 10 years in the last 2.
Oh,
This man is stressed. He is stressed. And now that Hamilton's leaving, like...
Well, Hamilton's leaving. Obviously, Tommy Hilfiger's gone now as well. So they've got Adidas, or Adidas, whatever you want to call it.
Adidas, yeah.
Yeah, however you pronounce the bloody thing.
It's interesting, isn't it? And
yeah,
I feel like we're not going to see...
You know, Tommy Hilfiger and Lewis Hamilton have a thing that don't do that together. So you weren't surprised by seeing that.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Tommy Hilfiger Ferrari.
Well, we saw Monster not sponsor Mercedes at the start of this year and went to McLaren, didn't they?
That's an interesting one.
They seem to be losing sponsors.
Monster is very closely tied with Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Did George Russell ever get his own drink in Monster?
No. It was Valentino Rossi and Lewis Hamilton.
It was only those two. Did George never get one?
No.
I know Bottas didn't.
Did Bottas?
No, I don't think Bottas did. I know Rosberg didn't.
No, Rosberg didn't. It was only Valentino Rossi and Lewis Hamilton. Bottas didn't.
I'm wondering because George is British and there's a big market for George because he's quite popular in the paddock. I thought maybe.
No, but they've gone to McLaren now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lando Norris one.
Oh no, well, yeah, 100%. But yeah, it's really going wrong for Mercedes.
Yeah, everything seems to be going wrong for Mercedes, inside and outside of the track.
Yeah, they're crumbling, and not as much as maybe Red Bull is on the inside, because Red Bull have, obviously, we know they're huge problems on the inside.
Yeah.
But Mercedes seem to not really know what they want to do. Hopefully now they've got a direction that they can. Hopefully now they've got a direction that they can go in where they think, okay, maybe this is something that works for us. But they're so far behind, like we said, that it's not feasible. They're gonna have to really aim for 2026, really.
That's where their focus has to be now, is 2026. Yeah. At this point, it's get this car up to a competitive standard where you're going to get top 3 in the championship, and then 2026 all in.
Yeah, 100%. But either way, that's our Mercedes discussion. It's obviously something that I think people don't really touch on because there's a lot more stuff going on, but something that I think needed to be addressed because it is a bit of a weird one that we've now seen 3 years without Mercedes being any good at all.
3 years, 1 win.
Yeah. But wait, no. Wait, is it 1 win? Oh my god, it is.
They've only won Brazil. Well, they
did.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
They're
crazy.
in the 3rd year and they've only had 1 win.
That's mental. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much for watching. We got a tier list video coming out on Friday, which is going to be quite good, ranking the tracks, which you're not going to want to miss. That's going to be really cool. With that being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.